Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another version of Connersville Speaks. We have the pleasure this evening to have three of our department heads that work here in Connersville. We're going to talk to them about many things tonight, and we invite you to call in. The numbers will be up on the screen just shortly, and if you have any questions of any of them, you can call in. And we're going to go from everything from Easter egg hunt to first aid unit, so we're going to carry a lot of ground. On my right tonight I have Mike Bottomley. Mike is the park superintendent, and when we say park superintendent, sometimes we just think, well, all he's got's Roberts Park. Well, that's not the truth. He has about 5 parks, and he's going to tell you how many acres and how many things he actually has to take care of. And then when we talk about David Jobe, why, David's got all the streets and all the city areas up by the fountain and different places he's got to take care of, including snow and grass. And so we're going to get into it with David, and we might touch a little bit on the new trash, however that seems to be working real good. And then Dale over on the end has been an employee of the first aid unit for many years, and we get a lot of questions about the first aid unit, how it operates, and we're going to try to explain some of that tonight, why we do certain things and why we don't do certain things. So I'm going to start off. I think we'll start with Mike. Mike, you just came from the Easter egg hunt. How many children did you have?
Our annual Easter egg hunt this year, we had, even though it was a cold, windy day, we had about 200 kids show up. Once again, it started at 5 o'clock. By 10 after, it was done. Eggs all picked up. We had about 375 special prizes this year and over 8,500 eggs.
Yeah. I was told today that Easter is the earliest it's ever been, and next year it drops back to the 20th of April. And of course, we don't know what's happened, but spring just don't know how to come.
Yeah, we sure hope so. I know it's pretty early this year. We did this because of spring break next week.
Yeah, you wouldn't have any kids, would you?
And Easter is a week earlier, too.
Right, yeah. Okay. And can you tell a little bit about your programs? I know you didn't bring your, maybe you did bring some.
I didn't bring everything, but I mean, right now,
what's going on right now?
the spring programs are pretty much everybody signed up. We have our summer soccer, our spring soccer, youth soccer, ages 3 through 12. They will
sign up for that now?
No, it's all done. We have about 300 kids sign up. We will start playing the Saturday after spring break. Right now, we're signing up for the softball, men's, church league, and all that kind of stuff with the ball fields.
Okay. You also helped with the Babe Ruth sign-ups, did you?
Yeah, they're ended. I think they had tryouts already. We're kind of in between sign-ups right now with all the baseball programs.
How many kids did you have in Babe Ruth, do you know?
They haven't given us a final count, but they usually they shoot for about 350 kids. Not saying that's what they had this year, but they shoot for that.
Okay.
We're good partners with them. Every year we try to help them out with sign-ups.
Okay. Well, I think most people also saw that we went through the agonizing thing trying to figure out what we were going to do with t-ball and softball, and we finally worked that out with the boys club. And do you know how that's coming?
Yeah, I mean, they've been taking sign-ups for their t-ball program and their girls softball. I think they should be still signing up for that. They start a little later than the boys. But, you know, they've been working with us for the last few years, been a good relationship, and I wish them well this year.
Okay. Hey, we'll jump over to David. David, you just been the street superintendent. When did you take over?
It was November 5th.
November 5, okay. And you've had a rough winter. Just a little bit of snow, a little bit of snow, a little bit of snow, and the slippery spots. And you got enough snow up there for 2 storms. I just went up there and checked it.
Of salt?
Salt, not snow, salt.
Yes. The first snow we had this year was a learning experience for me because I hadn't been involved with snow like that before, and I've learned a lot since, and I think I'm doing a better job there. They do a good job no matter what, but it was me getting them started, getting them out to do it. It was a little slow, but I've learned a lot since the first snow, and it looks like the weather report, we're going to have more snow the next few days maybe, so hopefully that goes away and doesn't come here to Connersville.
Okay. We always have in the spring, and it is spring, 2 days now, chuck holes. And say you got a chuck hole at the end of your driveway, what do?
Well, normally what we have is people call us and we go and check to see what if it's us or if it's you, sometimes it's right on the line. But we have to see what's going on with it, and we go from there. What's been so bad this, if you want to call it spring, late winter, it's hard to fill the holes when they're full of water and so forth. What we patch with, it's a cold patch, and it doesn't stick really, really well with this kind of weather. Maybe some days soon we'll have some dry periods where we can go around, but we've had 2 trucks out several different occasions the last couple of days. I think the last 3 weeks we've had at least 2 trucks out 2 or 3 days during that week. And we're just an ongoing thing in some of our streets. It'll come back out, and we know that because of the kind of patching that we're using. But when the weather changes, we'll be doing a better job with some hot mix.
Okay. So overall, we made it through the winter, and we all have a learning experience because every storm is different. It hits different time of the day, and it comes from the east, comes from the west, and we just don't know how to handle it sometimes. Sometimes it's freezing rain, sometimes it's wet snow, and it's rough. We have, how many trucks? 5 trucks over there.
Yeah, 5
snowplow
yes.
trucks, and how many pickups?
We got 3. We have one that we can use for pre-treat, and then we have another one which has a small box on the back that we can treat the streets with that. And what we use with that mostly is the hills with Nickel Avenue and some of the places here on the south end of town. It's kind of hard to get to, and 8th Street Hill, 5th Street Hill, we use the pickup truck for that.
Yeah. Okay, last week we went in depth looking at streets, how bad they were, and I've got a whole list over at my office of what needs to be blacktop, and then Dr. Weber in his district gave me one Hickory, is it Hickory Court?
Yes, there's a Hickory Court.
Is that inside the city?
Yes.
Okay, he tells me it's real bad, so you might want to look at it. But anyway, the procedure is if you got a pothole or you find one on Grand Avenue or Western or whatever, call the street department. It's listed under Connersville City in the book, and it'll say street department. And Bonnie over there will talk to you, and she'll take where the location of that pothole. And I've tried to make it our responsibility to get them filled within 24 hours. So, David, I think you're doing a good job. Most people tell me you're doing a good job. So, most people.
Yeah, but we always have our doubters, but we try to take care of those folks too.
Okay. Dale, you've been on the first aid unit how many years?
Right at 18.
Right at 18 years. Started when you were just out of high school.
Yeah.
Dale's the commander. This is your 3rd hitch at being commander.
Yes.
And how many men you got working over there?
We have 12 full-time and 8 part-time.
Okay. And we try to keep 4 men on duty at a time with 2 or 3 ambulances running.
We try to keep 4. Part of the time we don't get that done, but we do keep 2 ambulance staffed all the time, 24/7.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, the #1 question I get as mayor constantly is, there's a fender bender on 30th Street, and Johnny's got a little cut in his hand, and they send 2 fire trucks, 2 police cars, and 2 ambulances. You explain it. I get it at me all the time.
Most of the time, when a caller calls 911, they usually just tell them there's a person injured in a wreck. They don't say whether they're trapped or whether there's a fire or anything. So the dispatchers will send the fire trucks in case of fire. They send Rescue 21 in case someone's trapped, and then police do the law enforcement, and we do the treatment of the patients.
Okay. Once the first person gets there then, and they see it's just a cut finger, do they call off all the rest, or what happens?
Part of the time they do it, depending on the situation of what it is. Part of the time we use the fire department for extra manpower for us, and part of the time they assist with making sure there's no fire hazards on the vehicles.
Okay. So there you have it, folks. That's the #1 question I get every day. Why do we send so much? And before I was mayor, I wondered that myself, but then after you've been here a while and I listened to that radio, I realized that it's better to err on the side of safety. And also remember that every one of these people that are on duty are getting paid to work. So if they're out on the street working, or whether they're sitting in the firehouse or sitting in the first aid unit, they're working because they're getting paid anyway. We are burning a little extra gas, and sometimes it looks dumb to have a great big 40-foot fire truck at a cut finger. But I think we err most of the time on the side of safety. Is that the way you see it?
Yes. Part of the time the fire equipment's also used as a traffic block to protect the people working at the scenes also.
Okay. How's your relationship with the fire department?
We seem to be getting along quite well. It
You
works
work
nicely.
with just one fire department, just Connersville City Fire Department, or?
No, we work with Connersville City, Glenwood Volunteer, Everton Volunteer, and Bentonville Volunteer.
Okay, explain to the people how that works. Say we get a call at north of town, just across the city limits in the county, and you got a personal injury accident there. What happens?
They will dispatch an ambulance, Bentonville Fire Department, along with Connersville's Rescue 21, and then the Sheriff's Department. After someone gets on the scene, a lot of times they will go ahead, since it's outside the city limits, cancel 21 if it's not needed. And then Bentonville's EMS personnel will start treating the patient until we get a crew there, and then we will assist them and they assist us, and then we treat it and transport it back to the hospital.
Okay, so you have areas like Bentonville takes care of what area?
Bentonville covers part of Harrison Township and Posey Township and part of Waterloo Township.
So they have to go all the way to Waterloo?
Yes. They go clear to the East County line.
Oh, do they really? That's a long way for them to go.
Yep.
What's the response time when you go that far?
For us, it's probably right at about 6 minutes, 6-7 minutes, depending on the weather.
Okay. Okay, and then where does Glenwood go?
Glenwood covers all of Fairview Township, half of Connersville Township, half of Columbia, and Orange Township.
Okay, and then Everton covers the rest?
Yeah. Which is what, Jackson's, Jennings, and part of Waterloo.
So they've got a big area.
Connersville. Yep.
So whenever there's a personal injury, accident, or a call for help in that district, they know and they call you and the fire department in that area?
Yes.
Okay. And of course those are volunteers, so they have to leave their house, go to the fire station,
Yep.
get the fire truck. And do they have an ambulance too, or just a fire truck?
Just fire truck.
Okay. They have a rescue truck though,
Yep.
don't they? Do all three departments have a rescue truck?
All three have rescue. Glenwood and I believe it's Everton has a certified heavy rescue, and then Connersville and Bentonville are certified rescue.
Okay. What's the difference between rescue and heavy rescue?
Just some of the equipment. Glenwood, Everton carries more chains. It's just a state certification. They have to carry different equipment.
Okay.
But overall, most of it is almost identical between departments.
Okay. How many calls do you average a year?
Last year we had almost 2,700.
2,700 calls. Okay. All right. We're going to come back to you, Mike. This has been an interesting year in the Parks Department. Number one, 2 years ago, the City Council voted to repair the John Roberts building. A lot of us know it as the 4-H building, and so we began doing that very slowly and lightly. Started with the kids last summer, tearing all the, I call it, horsehair and whatever that was in the ceiling.
I'm not for sure the term of that.
Well, it looked like it had hair in it and kind of a glued up board.
It's the old type of drywall.
Yeah, and the kids in the hot summer, they tore all that out for you and tore it back to all the way back. And then we found out that it was really a sound building. The joists in the top are 2x12s and they're trussed. The floor is 2x12s and it's got angled pine over the top of it with maple hardwood over the top of that. So we began to rebuild that building. The City Council gave us an allotment of money. I think it was how much the first time?
60,000.
60,000.
Yeah.
And then you had some fundraisers and you raised more money. You had a 5K or something up there.
Had a 5K, a community garage sale.
Community garage.
Selling windows,
Yeah.
a couple doors,
Yeah.
those type of items.
Right. So we raised money, and a guy by the name of Jeff Church here in town, who is a great carpenter, remade all the windows for the building. And they're made out of poplar. And describe what they're like, Mike.
Well, I mean, first of all, the building was built in 1934 in honor of James Robert, who donated the park in 1901, 1902.
Now, who was James Roberts? Do you know? I hear this all the time, and I haven't researched it. Maybe Fran knows.
I'm not for sure. I think he founded the first trading post in town, and he donated the 60 acres at Roberts Park
That's what Roberts Park is, 60
right
acres.
around 60 acres. And like I said, back in '34. So that building was built through the WPA. All the buildings in the park was built around the same time, WPA day. So it's historical. And like you said, the building is very nice, built solid. But over the years, the park really didn't have a maintenance plan. And it deteriorated to a point where we had to close it about 10 years ago. And thank goodness for this administration and council that they finally approved the money to renovate the building. In the past, we've had other engineers look at it. I wrote some notes down. One of the estimates was of $363,000. And it was a local bid, and we had an out-of-town engineer was over $900,000 to repair the building. But we've been doing this in-house. Bill Dunsel's been awesome. Our budget for this building is right around $160,000, and we've been trying to watch that so we don't go over it. It's been difficult, but it's been a great project, and it's been a fun project so far.
Yeah. And of course, we've had a lot of help. Number one, we had a bunch of volunteers went in there and helped take the windows down, the old windows. Then we used our part-time help in the summer to clean it all out. And then we've had the vocational school. I'll never get away from calling it vocational school, but it's really Fayette County training. Come on, help me.
WTCC, Whitewater Technical Career
Whitewater
Center.
Technical Career Center. And they have given us all kinds of help up there with the young people buying into it.
Yeah, they've been great partners over the years. They've been involved in a lot of different projects.
Yeah, they built our restrooms for us and many other things.
Red Cross building. And they've built some soccer goals for us.
Yeah.
Anything we ever ask, they try to help us out with. And back to the windows, I kind of asked a question, kind of skipped it, but those windows, the original windows in the 30s, and Mr. Church pretty much built the windows identical the way they were.
Right.
And
only this time he built out of a native poplar.
Right. So this should last another
100
years. So we're excited about that.
You know, if you go around in the country, all these old barns you see standing, you'll see a board off here and there, are all built off of native poplar because it takes the weather and it holds up, and these windows. And then we researched a little bit and we put some stuff on there called Lifeline. We got it from Permachink Company, and it is supposed to keep the UV rays off of it, and it's supposed to preserve the wood. And we put 2 coats of that, and the kids did that for us. All of our summer kids did that. Along with cutting the grass when it got dry and they weren't cutting grass, they were doing windows.
It's been a group project.
Yeah.
I think everybody's been involved in the other departments. And
we've had Jobe up there some with his crew with the backhoe.
Right. Jobe watched, but yeah, his crew worked.
Okay, we've got photos on right now. You can hear us talking in the background. This is the entranceway going in. You saw a picture of the building. This is the way it looked at the end of the summer last year. See the 2x12s and the crosses up there? This is the way the walls are all built, all out of 2x6. And this is native 2x6. This is the way it looked when we got it all skinned out, took everything out of it completely.
There's the kids.
There's the kids in there working. There's more like it looks today. You see the building trades class in there working. You can see it's all insulated, 6 inches of insulation in the walls. I think we're putting 19 in the top. There's the kids up on the scaffold taking the ceiling and the lights down. These are really great memories here. Here's when we poured the back porch, I call it, where we're putting the lift in. This made it handicap accessible. We got the men up there. We built the little roof to match the roof in the front. Here's putting the drywall in the ceiling, which is quite a feat because the ceiling is so high. And more of the exposure there. You can see how thick the walls are and what great condition they're in. And this is after we got it drywalled, Mike, I think.
No, that was right before we tore everything out. They had the windows.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing how much.
This is when we started drywalling right here.
Yes.
Yeah, right there. There it is. It's starting to come together. Notice those doors, if you can hold that picture a minute. Can you go back to that picture? Okay, well, those doors were all rebuilt by Jeff Church. There's the way it kind of looks today, right there.
Yes, that's pretty much current.
Yeah, and there's the little boardroom right off of it. This is one of our restrooms here. They just got the floor in. I believe that's the men's restroom. That's the stage, and that has all been redone all the way around there. If you haven't been up to see it, that's what the drapes will look like. That's one set. There'll be 10 sets of those, 5 on each side when we're done, to absorb sound. New lighting system. It's all been rewired. This is the way it looked last Monday night when we had our meeting in there. So that gives you a bird's eye view of that building. That's been a terrific project. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I can't go home without going by that building.
I kind of forgot how ugly the past windows were.
Yeah.
We had them halfway covered drywall and a little cheap curtain.
Yeah.
It looks really nice with how we're going to end up doing it.
Okay, the big question the City Council has always been asking is, will it pay for itself, heat, lights, water, and we have to man it? What is going to be the demand? And what's your gut feeling? I know we got to go a year here before we can find out for sure.
One thing with the building, comparing it to the way it was and the way it is now, we had to make it a little more functional. Which we moved restrooms upstairs and a small warming kitchen upstairs, and that will really give us the flexibility to run programs out of it. Made it handicap accessible, which it didn't have that in the past. So all that is good selling points. The Miller Center is really busy. We're always turning people down. I looked at the books today. The next 3 months, there's really no openings.
But we have openings over here just shortly.
We will have openings at the Roberts building. Like you said, it's going to open middle of the year. We're going to work at it. The stage is another good selling point. It's just going to help our flexibility and increase our programming. A little bit about some important dates. Right now, we are taking reservations starting from August 1st on. We're putting them in the book. We got a few people already down, and if we get the building done earlier, we'll reserve earlier. But right now, August 1st on, you can reserve the building.
I think you could have started on July 8th without a problem.
Probably could, but we just want to make sure. Some other important date. April 20th is our fundraiser, our chicken dinner fundraiser.
Let's spend some time on that. Tell people about it.
That's kind of our final fundraiser for the building, big one. The Knights of Columbus Chicken Fryers will be doing the chicken. It's $8 for adults, 12 and under, $4. It will be at the John Miller Community Center from 4 to 8 on April 20th. And the reason why we chose the John Miller Center, because the dinner will be held in the gym, and we'll also have a silent auction in the banquet hall. And hopefully in April, we'll be outside of the Roberts building, improving the parking, sidewalks, doing a lot of outside stuff.
Yeah. Okay, who's going to help you put that dinner on? I know the KSCs are frying all the chicken. Who's going to help you serve and stuff like that? Have you got that all worked out?
We got that all worked out. The chicken fryers take care of the chicken, and Tom Beck volunteered to take care of everything on the inside. He's bringing the volunteers. He's setting us all up for us. He's been great with the help. We just got to have our staff will take the ticket money and work the silent auction, but he's taking care of all the volunteers inside the building for us.
So folks, this is really important. For $8, the KSCs are putting this on behalf of the city. This is a great thing. They've come forth. When we did the swimming pool, they did the same thing for us. We can raise a bunch of money. We need a new sidewalk. We need a new porch. There's a lot of little things we need over there that we don't want to take out of the budget. So if you'll mark down April 20, see a city council person, see Sharon at the park, or see Mike at the park, stop in at the Miller Center. You can come to the mayor's office. We have tickets. Buy your tickets, and let's show the community that we can pay for this thing. And we'll get this all done, and it's going to be a beautiful building that you and your friends and family can use. It's great for wedding receptions. It's got a stage for a band. It's great for family reunions. It actually seats 50 more people than the dining room at the Miller Center. I didn't realize that, but it seats 50 more people. We can put 309 people in there, according to the fire chief, in that upstairs of that building. So we're pushing it hard. Buy your tickets. Let's show them that we can really raise this last little bit and get this work done. Not only that, it's a heck of a deal to get that kind of fried chicken. That's my most famous fried chicken. And they have a secret recipe. They won't tell anybody how they do it. And it's just wonderful. And where can you get a whole meal? There's no place you can get it. You can't even go to McDonald's and get a whole meal for $8 with fried chicken and the trimmings. So we want everybody to get their tickets. Come out. Will there be tickets at the door?
Yes.
And you can come over and eat and buy a ticket there.
We're planning on 700 dinners.
Okay.
And we're trying to pre-sell right now.
Oh, come on. Let's do 1,000.
Yeah, we love to reach 1,000, but we're planning for 700, and that's why we're pre-selling. If we get a good number, we can hopefully increase that.
Come on, folks. Let's show them we can have 1,000 dinners up there that night. Let's make some money. When we've been working on this building, number one, it had to have new infrastructure, so we put a new sewer in. Number two, we had to have a new, we had to put all the drainage around and drain into a drywall well. Then we had to get new power. So we have all new power in there. It only had like 100 amps upstairs and 100 amps downstairs. There was no air conditioning in the building whatsoever, and it had one old gas furnace in the basement. We now have 5 furnaces and 5 air conditioners, 16 ton in the main room alone. And so you can be nice and cool, and it's all quiet. It's all energy efficient. We've been able to insulate all the walls, and we're just next week going to blow insulation into the top, which will be the final insulating factor. It has emergency exits, it has handicap access, and we're going to try to beautify the outside a little bit. So I guess we've talked about all we can. I'm so proud of that building. As I told the city council, it's not the Palladium that cost, what was it, $40 million, but it's the Roberts building that's just as important to the Connersville people. Okay.
Yes. It's been a long 10 years for me
Yeah.
trying to figure out what we're going to do with this building, and I'm so glad that they decided to put the money up for the renovation.
You've been at the park 10 years.
11 and a half.
Who was mayor when you were hired?
Maury Connell.
He did a good job.
Yes.
I got to brag on my park superintendent here. I've come by up there, and he's been up in the lift of the truck against the union rules. He's not supposed to do that. I've come by, and he's got a shovel, and he's shoveling mulch, or he's shoveling dirt, or he's showing the kids how to do it. I've come by, and I caught him at 10 o'clock at night painting in the changing room at the park. And also, I want to brag on the 4 union employees that work at the park. They never say anything to Mike. They know he has a passion for the park, a passion for sports, and that's what he cares about. That's the kind of employees that we have up there. Clarence has just done an outstanding job. I've watched him work on his own and work hand in hand with Billy like they're a team.
Yes.
I don't know the other guys all by their first name.
Yeah. You're only as good as the people around you.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I got good people, and like you said, Clarence, but my guys, I mean, they all have been there 16 plus years. So they've seen that building when it's being used for family reunions, events, and they're just as excited about it as anybody else.
They have bought into it and really worked their heart out.
Yeah, I mean,
all the park people.
Kenny Solomon and Charles Menadel is the other 2, and I'll leave them notes to do stuff in the park, and they'll get those done instead of waiting for me to tell them that they head right over to the 4-H building and start working. So it's been a good process.
You taxpayers are really getting your money worth. Now, we started out by saying, you know, Roberts Park's not the only park in the park system, so give us a little tale. How many parks you got and how many acres, and what do you do? We
take care of right around 200 acres. You know, Roberts Park, of course, is the largest, 60 acres of that, but we also take care of Offit's Park, Industrial Park.
When you say Offit's Park, that's the big field up there where the basketball goals are, up behind J.C. Penney.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Offit's,
area. Yeah.
Yes, we take care of that. Industrial Park, which sits across from Dell's area. 2nd Street Park, Babe Ruth Park, Little League Complex, and the soccer field complex. Smalley's Lake. Sometimes we forget about the lake out there. But we take, I think, what is that, about 6, 7 parks that we take care of throughout town. There's some other little areas that we mow. That's city property.
Okay. Now, before we get a call, I'm going to go ahead and the basketball goals over at the industrial park are hanging, unless you fixed them in the last few days.
They should have been. We went through and we replaced all the basketball nets, and we had a bent goal at Industrial and a bent one at 2nd Street.
They're all fixed already?
They supposed to have been fixed, yes.
Okay. Some lady called in late last week, and I forgot all about it until I'm sitting here looking at you. There's too much to keep on your mind.
It's getting close to spring, so we try to get on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We had a bad time last year. A car ran through the bathroom over at Industrial Park, and we are right now in the process of trying to get a grant. We've got some insurance money, and just as soon as we can get the guys free, we're going to go down there and start to build a multi-purpose building.
Right. That's our goal, is to, actually a very exciting goal, to do away with the 4 outbuildings, build one multi-purpose building right behind the
So
backstop.
it'll be concession, restrooms,
A little storage, and a scores booth.
Scores booth.
And what's even more exciting about the project is there's a sidewalk that runs from, I guess, Mousie's all the way around to Stance that we are trying to rebuild, pour, and that would give better access for the neighborhood to get to the park.
Yeah, well, if Jobe has any time with his crew, since he's got freed up with the trash, he's only got one guy running that trash, maybe his guys can help us put some of that sidewalk in along it's our park.
Right, and right now his guys, we've been working on it for about a month now. We thought we had plenty of time to get it done,
Well,
but
it's
we've been
too wet.
out at the soccer fields.
I know. I've been looking at it.
If people was wondering what the big mountain of dirt is, it's a project we started a few weeks ago, and it's to increase our parking.
Right.
And we're trying to build the road out to the parking lot. We bought about 1.8 acres off the local church right there. And I think ever since we've started that project, it's rained, snowed, and our goal is to get that road ran at least to the lot. They may have to park in the grass this year, but we got to get that road in.
Let me tell you some good news. I talked to the president of the county commissioners yesterday. I'm mixed up, maybe Monday. And he told me that we're going to share, and he has talked to the other 2 commissioners. They're going to bring their grader down and help us. That's what you need down there. It's hard to build that road with a front end loader. You can't, you just dig and jump. But they're going to bring their grader down there. I don't know if they're going to expect us to run it, or if they'll probably send an operator. But they're going to help us so we can grade that down, fill it in with rock. And you know, that's what it's all about. When we had that snow and Jobe had just started, I was so frustrated. My phone was ringing off the hook. It said the hills are slippery. Next thing I know, the phone quit ringing, and Jay from down to county had gone up and salted and sanded all 3 hills and got it done. And I think Jobe was gone for Christmas at that time, or there was, anyway, they helped us out because they already had a load of salt and we didn't. So that's what it's called, working together. I tell people every day, Connersville is in Fayette County. If you live in Connersville, you're a Fayette County resident. So we've been working together. But I did talk to the president of the commissioners. He's going to come down and help you. As soon as it dries up a little bit, he's going to come help you.
That'll help us out.
Bring their dryers. We need some dryers.
Well, I think we need to stay out of there until it gets dry enough to work. And I can tell you that's going to be April. A big farmer up north told me, first week in April, it's always dry enough to work the field. We'll work on that, okay? But I got that worked out for you. So if you'll talk to Jay sometime when you get time, he's going to come down and help you. All right. And Jobe, we'll just keep working together. We're going to go back to that first aid unit up there. Your memorial's tipped over.
Yes.
And we're going to get that fixed. We're just behind, you know, with the bad winter we've had. And we're going to get that. And I think we got a new flagpole we're going to put up there for you. Did you get your exhaust system in?
No, they actually, the part of the company came in yesterday and started. They had to redo part of our furnace system, and they finished that up today. And they will start on the rest of the system probably here in about 2 weeks.
Okay. You probably don't realize, but the guys live right in that building, and when they start those diesel engines up, they get all that problem, all that smoke and stuff. So we wrote a grant and we got it, and we're putting an exhaust. Explain what it does. Tell them how it works.
It's a large hose like a vacuum cleaner that hooks to the exhaust pipe of the ambulance. When it starts, the heat and the compression from the truck will activate a fan which will start sucking the smoke from the truck, and then as the truck leaves the building, the hose will follow it to the door and then automatically disconnect.
Well, that'll keep that odors and that bad stuff out of your building.
Right, keep all the emissions out of the building.
So we got a grant to that. We couldn't afford to pay for that, but we got a grant for that. We're writing grants all the time. We had a grant in for a fire truck. We just got denied this last week. We still got a grant for an ambulance for you.
Yep.
and we're working on that. We got the numbers up on the screen, 825-3245. I don't know if anybody out there, it's a cold night, what else could you do? But anybody wants to ask these three department heads a question, they'd be glad to answer it. Just go ahead and call in, 825-3245. I don't know how we're doing on our time. I guess we're doing pretty good. Jobe, what's your goals over the next year? We got bicentennial. You're going to be a busy guy. We want this town to look spiffy. What's your goals over the next 6 months here? What do you got in mind?
Well, I've got some stuff bought to try to stay ahead of it. I bought paint already. I've bought more cones. I bought some things that I had money within my budget to buy to be ready for some of the activities that are going to be taking place. We've been working on the street signs. We're trying to straighten them up, square them up, and replace the ones that need to be. We've had several signs that the stop signs and so forth, that we've refaced. It's half the price to reface the sign compared to buying a new sign. So that saves quite a bit of money when you're doing that many signs. Our city has a lot of stop signs once you start looking around, and some folks like to borrow our signs, I think, some of our street signs and so forth. They don't bring them back as quick as they should, but they come up missing, and we replace those. And I've working with a couple of different companies on trying to get the best price I can for the signs. The streets, it's ongoing. It's this winter, spring, it's a mess, and it's just an everyday thing. Once you think you're in good shape on one street and you go back to it, you'll find more places. So it's just going to be ongoing until we can get the right kind of weather. But what I would really like to do, my thing I've set out to do, is just to try to make the town a better, more attractive place to live. There's a lot of people, we drive from our homes to work and back and forth, but I've had the sometimes unpleasurable drives around some of our alleys and some of the areas that we do have in our community. And we've had dump trucks out with loaders and so forth. The guys and gals have brought back several tons of trash that we've picked up in the alleys, and that's ongoing too. So I just would like to, at the end of the time fall gets here, I'd like to see the town cleaned up. I'd like to see a lot of the stuff gone. Mattresses and so forth, I don't know why we do it, but we do. But I would be tickled to death to pick them up for you and get them gone.
Okay, now let me say, the last week of each month is what we call heavy trash, and let's run the procedure. So now I've got 2 old mattresses in my shed, and I want to get rid of them, and I know trash in Connersville, heavy trash is a lot. So what do I do? When do I call you?
What you do, you can call me, Bonnie, just call the
and
office.
What's your number over there?
827-1421.
1421, that's not, okay.
But what you do is you call that, I'm sorry, 825. I don't call myself often.
I call Phil a lot.
But anyway, call, and Bonnie and I or John or somebody there will answer the phone. And what we need from you is your address and the number of items you got. We're taking 3 or 4 items because it is a monthly ongoing thing. So every month you still have an opportunity to get rid of yourself.
Now let's go back. I've got 3 old mattresses I want to get rid of. So I call 1421, 825-14. Bonnie, over there at 518 18th Street, I have 3 old mattresses. Do I run and put them out by the street?
No, what we do, we ask you to put them out the weekend before that last week. This weekend it's going to be the 23rd and 24th because we start Monday, which is the 25th.
So you want everything out for Monday?
So we'd like to have it out the 2 days before, if possible, so it doesn't sit around for the whole month.
So then you start picking it up on the 25th?
On Monday. When we go our list, our last month, we had 80-some calls. So we went to 80-some residences and picked up, you name it, we picked it up. So this month it's a little bit less because of the weather. It's the way we've been so cold, but we still have 50, 60 people that have called.
So you're going to be busy starting next Monday?
Yeah, next Monday morning. And we go this throughout the week. We try to have it done by Wednesday, and that's what our goal is, but sometimes it doesn't work. But if you call us, we need your address. So that way we don't go up and have to go up and down every street and look for it. We know where we're going when we start out.
Okay.
We give the people, the folks, the list, and they take out.
Now that should be clear to everybody when they watch this program again, when it's rerun. That's the way you handle your heavy trash. Now, I want to go to, we started this one-arm trash in our dumpsters, and everybody's got one. Some got small ones, some got big ones. And so we picked that up, and everybody knows their day by this time, and everybody knows how you set it out with that little chrome piece facing the street, and everybody knows that, and that's working. Now, you know, I found that we really don't have much trash because you recycle. Tell me all the things you recycle.
We do everything. There's a lot of products out there, and there's some that don't. It kind of varies, but the key is there's a triangle on a bottle, for example, and that bottle, that shows that it's a recyclable type bottle. But anymore, the parameters have opened up to where we can take about anything that's plastic, glass, and cardboard paper. You used to not be able to take the paper like on cereal boxes, the real shiny, and had the, you know, that didn't have a texture to it. But anymore, we can do that too. So anything that way is more than well to go in the bag.
And where do you get your recycle bags?
Come to the street department, and you sign your name and address, and you
have to be a city resident to get
city
free.
Residents to pick them up. And that has really increased. I'm anxious to see this week what we did recycle today, and anxious to see how many tons we had today.
You recycle every Thursday?
Every Thursday morning.
Okay. How long does it take to recycle the town?
It takes most of the day to do it and do it right.
Okay.
Because it has picked up, and the walking part where the armed truck is a lot handier to pick up the totes than what the folks have to walk so far to pick some of them up.
I know when you first started the one-armed truck picking up the cans, you got a lot of calls and a lot of complaints and a lot of. Is that all slowed down? It
slowed down a lot. Our problem was when they were passed out from the get-go. They set them out at abandoned homes and places where people weren't living, and so we had to go back around and reshuffle, and we still do that from time to time. Just for an example, I had 2 days ago got a call and said, "Well, I've had an extra tote this whole time, and I don't really need it. Would you like to have your tote back?" Well, yes, we'd love to have it back. So we went and picked it up. So
excuse me, we got a call here. Who's the caller? Here, who would you like to ask a question?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I've got one of them toters like everybody, and somebody went out here and took baby diapers and went and put them on the handles. Well, I set it out there, and it had poop and pee and throw up on it or something. It's just awful. I don't know why they went and done it.
That's terrible. So did you clean it up? Did you wash it off? Or?
Well, yeah, have to. But, I mean, it's just awful. I don't know why people go and do such.
Yeah, well...
they act such ways. I mean, that's just getting out there and throwing up on the trash can and throwing stuff on it and putting baby diapers on it and poop and smearing it on it.
Yeah, that's terrible. Well, I want to tell you, I had some people that have put some graffiti on some city buildings, and I get as upset as you do about the diapers and the poop. And I don't know why people do that. You know, we got kids working at the 4-H building, and they're just wonderful kids. They're down on their hands and knees laying tile, they're insulating, they're doing electrical work, and they're just so proud of what they're doing. And then we've got people that want to run around town and destroy stuff. But I want to tell you something. Our police department is watching, and believe me, they're stopping people. I listen to them. We got cameras all over the park, all over the different areas that the city owns. And you're not going to be able to get away with that stuff because these cameras are so sophisticated. You can tell who they are, what they're wearing, and it's not going to be a pretty picture when we find these people, I want to tell you. So I just tell those people out there that want to destroy and treat neighbors like they treated you, that's a terrible thing. Have you had any other complaints like that?
No, but this gentleman would like to call me tomorrow. I'd be glad to talk to him and see what we can do to see what the neighborhood, if there's anything else that's going on.
Okay. Could you call David tomorrow at 1421, 825-1421?
Let me write that down here.
825-1421, and let's see what we can. Maybe we've had other trouble in that neighborhood.
Yeah, and I mean that's like they shot at my sign out here. There's bullet holes in it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they got out here laughing. One guy got out here laughing one night, and it was probably 2 in the morning, and I went and called the cops and told them what they went and done.
Yeah, maybe David ought to get our police chief in on this one. So call David in the morning and give him all that information, and we'll have the police do some extra checking there.
I appreciate it.
Okay, we appreciate you calling tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't know about these things unless, and I tell people all the time, I appreciate you calling, so we wouldn't know unless you called me.
That's right. On all these things, you know, these people here work for you. You're the taxpayer. You pay them. We don't want you to just run them down on the street. We want you to call them. If you've got a problem in the park or a problem at the first aid unit, or you think something wasn't done right, why, you call them. They're all listed in the book under City of Connersville. We have a website, Connersville Community. Numbers are all on there. You can email them. Most of them have cell phones, and they got their cell phone listed. So feel free to call these people. We were talking about this, so the recycling's going great.
Right.
The big trash is going, and we just got to tweak it a little bit.
Right, and a lot of alleys and stuff, like I said earlier, that we are picking up. We're trying to help the folks, but then my hands are tied. I can't go in your yard and help you so much.
No, you can't go on private property.
Right, my folks and myself would end up in trouble no matter how much we'd like to, and we would like to in some cases, but you know, just work with us, and we'll be glad to get it hauled away for you.
Okay. All right. Well, Dale, we've applied for that grant for that new ambulance. Tell the people why we have applied for that grant. We've got an 07 ambulance as our #1 ambulance.
It's an 07 Ford. It's had some major engine issues over the last about 3 years. The engine's been pulled by Phil at the garage. I think it's 3 times now. He's got it going right now. It's running pretty good, but we have applied for a Assistance to Firefighters grant back in June of last year, and so far we haven't had any notifications.
Should be forthcoming shortly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully to replace the truck, it's about $150,000. So we apply for the grant to try to offset that, and if we get this grant, it will offset it, hopefully the whole thing.
Yeah. The reason we've had so much trouble with that, it's got a 6.0 engine. It's an 07 chassis, but it's got a 6.0 engine. That engine turned out to be, it had a lot of problems with the valves, it had a lot of problems with the O-rings, and we get antifreeze down in the oil, and Phil has fought that thing, as many other owners of those same engines, and nobody seems to know what to do with it. And if you understand an ambulance, when you go out, it has to start and it has to go. So we put this grant in a long time ago, and we're trying to get it. If we don't get this grant, we're going to have to go to the county commissioners and to the city, and we're going to have to buy a new ambulance on a lease payment plan. We're going to have to get it done, because we can't go with an ambulance that is down, and when it's down 3 and 4 weeks at a time, and then we're really in a world of hurt. So that's why you hear us talking about the new ambulance. It's not just because we like new ambulances, it's that we got a bad motor in that one. And under warranty, we've got the parts. Even then, it just doesn't work, and I think it's pretty much coming out of warranty now. And as he said, it's going to take $150,000 to redo that. What are your goals over the next year, Dale? I know you got your hands full over there, but
we would like to get this exhaust system put in, and then maybe if they come back with another fire grant, to apply for another ambulance to hopefully replace another truck if we were lucky enough to get this one, and then get our monument out front fixed. We went through the school, Mrs. Delaney, I believe was her name. She helped us redo all the signage that was inside the monument, so we have it all ready to replace when we get the monument back up this time.
We're going to get it fixed, Ray. We got that restroom problem over in Industrial Park. We got your monument. I forget, we got it. We still got some work down at 911 we got to do. All this got to be done before the bicentennial, and we try to do it. Mike will be taking, what, 5 or 6 young people back to work starting in May?
Yeah, somewhere around there. We have a lot to do before bicentennial also. The cover bridge is going to get repainted, new lighting put inside. Like you said, Industrial Park project.
Mike, excuse me, we got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Who would you like to ask a question to? Just go right ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we sure can. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, I just wonder why is people so nasty? I mean, why do they go and put dead animals on the trash cans and stuff like that. I mean, I've had the same kind of issues that other fellow was talking about. I mean, it's just been terrible. It's just like, why is people just so stupid acting? I don't get it.
Well, I don't get it either, and I tell you, Mike puts up with it at the park. I don't know. I don't know why people want to destroy their own property. All the property in town belongs to the taxpayers. Why would you go around town destroying your own property? Mike, do you know why they do it?
I mean, I don't know. We have, as soon as the weather gets warm, we have vandalism come out. I don't know if the kids are bored or young adults are bored, but we have problems with boards being kicked out, spray painting, people putting engine blocks in our trash cans or dumping stuff down at Smalley's. I wish I could tell you why they do it, but we just clean it up and move on.
Now
Somebody went to my property and went and put a blow-up person out in my yard.
Yeah.
It was nasty. It had some kind of nasty-looking cream on it. I don't know why they went and done it. I don't know why it stunk. I don't know what they done. I had to throw it away as a mess.
We don't understand it. But I can tell you this, if you see anything in this city that's going on, if you call your police department and tell them what it is, they will be there in just minutes. I listen to them, I monitor them on the radio all the time. They are responding, stopping cars, going through neighborhoods. I'm telling you, they are so busy, sometimes they'll have 3 calls at the same time. People think, oh, the police don't do anything, just ride around. Oh, if you'd listen to it, just listen to it for a little while, it drives them crazy, just from one to another. Just as I was coming down here tonight, there was a call up here by the car wash on 3rd Street. One was over there, and there was another call right over here, both at the same time. Just things are going on like that. And I'm like Mike. I don't know if people are bored. I know when the economy's bad and money's short, maybe people get crazy like that. I don't know. But I don't understand it. Okay, go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller, and ask a question.
I have a question on the heavy trash pickup.
Go right ahead.
Is there a charge for the heavy trash pickup?
No, there isn't. You call us and tell us what you got and your address and so forth, and there's no charge. We don't pick up electronics and appliances, kitchen appliances, and that type of stuff. But all the other stuff that we pick up, there's no charge.
The other question I have is, if you're picking it up for free,
okay, are you still on there, caller?
To the transfer station, do they charge me?
I think I've lost my sound for some reason.
Yeah, it's if you let me pick it up, there's no charge. If you take it down there, sometimes he doesn't know where what's coming from or whatever. But if you give me a call, I'll work with you. I have talked to Tom Creech a few times and told him that certain people are coming, and we take care of it that way. So if you give me a call, I'll be glad to work with you with it.
Alrighty, thank you.
I appreciate you.
I can't hear what's going on anymore. I don't know what's happened to my sound. But we have a call on the telephone. Okay, go ahead. We'll take that call. Go ahead and ask your question.
Go ahead, caller.
Okay. I'm sorry we missed a caller, I guess. Something. You guys hearing all right
yes.
yet? Okay, yeah. I've just lost it. Well, the question is, why are people so mean? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I guess it's been like that forever. You need it more than I do. Go ahead. You're going to answer the questions. I'm not answering the questions. My batteries are good here. I don't know what's happened to me. But anyway, David, you were talking about, you were talking about, go ahead.
Future planning for this summer. Of course, getting the completion of the Roberts building. We would like to rest for the rest of the year, but we can't. But we got a lot to do. Of course, we're trying to get all the buildings landscaped for bicentennial. Like I said before, the cover bridge painted, cleaned up, fronts of the buildings, probably repaint inside of the buildings, and just trying to plant some additional flowers and those type of things, and work with bicentennial to have a good event. And the other project with Industrial Park and the soccer fields all needs to be done. And you know, we remulch all the trails down at Smalley, so there's a lot to do. We do hire a few kids over the summer to help us out, and I think all 6 of them is returning this year, which is great.
Yeah, you don't have to train them again.
Don't have to train them, and they love what they do. They're always telling their parents, "Hey, look what I did today," and they're proud of what they do. So I'm excited to get them kids back whenever college ends and school ends.
And David, you're going to take some young people to work with you this summer.
Yes, they're going to
mow. Are you in the process? Are you taking yours back, or have you got new ones coming?
Yes, I've got some that's already coming back, and I'll see exactly how many I think I'm going to need yet. I'm kind of, I don't know if it's 4 or 6 exactly what I need, so we're going to figure that out in the next 2 or 3 weeks and get that situation taken care of.
Okay. All right. We're up here at 7:53, and I can't hear much of anything, but if anybody wants to call out there, the number was up on the screen, and feel free to call in. For the bicentennial, all 3 of you guys are going to have a lot of responsibility. David's going to be responsible to shut streets down, open streets up, set things up and take them down. Mike's got that park, and a good many of the activities are in the park that are going to be taking place. He's going to be really busy, and of course you're going to have extra work standing by for all the different events, the dangerous things, the soapbox derby, and all the things. So you guys are really going to be busy. I went to a little school last week, and since this is the bicentennial, and because it is the city celebration, the city is responsible. So we've got to cover all these things, and we'll do our best. And I know, Mike, you've been gearing up. And I know, David, you want the town to look perfect. And Dale needs a lot of help over there because we want to stand by for the different activities we've got to do. So these are your people that work for you, and then they have men and women that work under them, and they're doing the best they can with very little to work with. Their budgets are less money today than they were in 2007. Each one of these men have less money today than they had in 2007. So they're not wasting your money. They're making every penny count when we go to work. So I don't know how we are on our time. John, he's telling us we have 2 minutes. A quick comment from...
Something I'd like to mention, and Mike touched on it a while ago with his guys at the park. Being on this side now, which I hadn't been before, I'd always been on the city council side. I haven't seen, I think between Dale and I and the police and the fire and the street department, I think that overall we've got a really good group of people. I think most all of them would go the extra mile anytime that we would ask them. So I really appreciate the people that we have working for the city. I used to kick them a little bit, but once I see what's really going on, I think they're all doing a
Mike,
good
you
job.
got a final comment?
Kind of reinstate what I said earlier. If people in the public do see things that's wrong, let us know quickly. We have a lot of good people walking in the park in the mornings, and they always let me know if they see something wrong, and they're not afraid to call the police. But don't wait 3 or 4 days later. Call us right then. Let us know.
Okay. These are your people working for you each day. Are you telling me I have 3 minutes? 30 seconds. Okay. I'm going to tell you good night here in just a few minutes. Next week, next month, we're going to have Fuel on here. That's a new group that is serving food and helping homeless kids and helping kids that don't have a good home life sometimes, and just helping lots of people. So we'll be on here, and then we're planning up for our summer programs. We hope to have some really interesting things for you with the bicentennial coming. So on behalf of my crew here and the crew that brings this to you, thank you so much for watching Connersville Speaks. And if you have any questions, call one of these offices. Thank you so much. Good night.